I've wanted to be at West Point since I was a kid and saw my uncle step off the plane from Vietnam as an officer.
I don't like to say I got just the education out of West Point, or the way I cut my hair, or the opportunities for career. That's not what West Point is for me. It's much deeper than that. It's the friendships that I got here, the values that I'll take away from here.
West Point is like a society within itself. It's run on discipline and academic excellence. And it's a rigid society, but it's a good society.
The traditions at West Point are unique. It's so old, and you come in and at first maybe you laugh a little bit at it, but after a while it ingrains into you and it becomes part of the development process. Because that's what sets this place apart is the fact that there is tradition and there is ceremony and there is something to be said for old-fashioned values. And Sedgwick's monument, General Sedgwick, it's also known as the memorial to Confederate marksmanship, because the guy died standing up in the front lines in the Civil War, told his men, "They'll never hit you, don't worry about it, it's too far away," and he caught a bullet right between the eyes. And so the men melted down the statue, or melted down the cannons of all the Confederate units they caught, and made this statue of General Sedgwick. And the spurs are rowel spurs that really turn. You can go out and spin them. And long tradition at the academy. No one knows how these things start, but if you go out, if you're failing a class before your final in the class, if you go out at midnight in full dress gray, over white, underarms, and spin the spurs, then you won't be found in academics, or in other words, you won't fail the class.
Far, far away, far away.
West Point has probably more to offer, I think, than any other school, but it's also a place where the comradeship and just the friends you'll make just will stand out in the rest of your life.
I think that the majority of the women and the majority of the men that are here, we all pull our own weight, and we excel in different things. A lot of women are incredible athletes, and a lot of the men are too, and same in the academic arena. We've got some brilliant women and some brilliant men.
I love the people here, because you work really closely. You live with the people in the same barracks, and you work every day with these people. You go to summer training with these people, and you're closer with these people here, the other cadets, than probably you will be with any people if you went to another college.
You make great friends here. I mean, your friends are really something, and I plan to hold on to them as long as possible. I think I've grown closer with these people than I have with anyone else in my entire life. We've been through a lot together. When you go through something very difficult, you tend to come together and make a very large bond, and it's going to be hard to break that bond. It'll be very hard.
And just like airborne school, the farther away you get from it, the less terrible it seems. Now, it seems like plebe year, no, that wasn't so bad. But really, when you were there, it was bad. It was real bad. When I was a plebe, I had a lot of respect for the first class cadets and the upper class cadets in my company. And for them to finally recognize me after a year where I worked for them and worked to develop myself to help run the company the best that it could be run. Just having them step down and say, hey, you're not a bad kid after all, and we're glad you made it. That's a good feeling. That's a real good feeling. And now I'm proud of the fourth class cadets we have in my company, and I'm going to be very proud to shake their hand.
becomes part of the development process. The parades cadets complain about, but you look back at, you go through the graduation parade and you look at the alumni review we had Saturday and you see the old grads standing in line and there's a tear on their eye. And you know that it really means something. Because that's what sets this place apart is the fact that there is tradition and there is ceremony and there is something to be said for old-fashioned values and the way things can be if you want them to be. Maybe everything's not perfect in the world, but if you want to make it that way, then you can do it. And part of that's holding on to the good things. And this place has a lot of good things.
First class, return! Servers! Cut! First class, return! Servers! Cut!
It's very challenging. It's sometimes fun, not too often though. Do a lot of work, but you play hard too. definitely, you'll never forget the scenic beauty that's here that you don't appreciate while you're a cadet, because it just seems all gray. But even when I walk around this week with my parents, looking around, you can see how really beautiful Trophy Point is in the view from Fort Putnam and the other areas. That's something that always stands out in your mind.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Secretary of the Army, the Honorable John O. Marsh, Jr., and the Superintendent of the United States Military Academy, Lieutenant General Willard W. Scott, Jr.
What a beautiful day. Magnificent. It's a joyful day, not only to the staff and faculty that have watched these young men and women grow in understanding who they are, but understanding what the world is that they will now serve in. Graduates, you didn't get here on your own. And even more important to you than the staff and faculty that's trained you these 4 years are the people that gave you the real guidance, the real love. And I want you to stand now and to your parents, give them some return of thanks. Turn back and clap for them. I want you to know that that short clap and wave is not adequate recognition to what your parents have done for you. And on their behalf, I'd say, would you please, for the rest of your life, take time out every week and write. As your parents approved of my comment, they also would add a footnote. Stop calling collect. Distinguished guests, graduating class of '85, parents and friends of this distinguished class, it's my distinct privilege to introduce our graduation speaker. We have a secretary steeped in the history of this great nation and the role the Army has played in that development. A loyal fan and supporter who has led this Army with distinction. It's a great honor for West Point to have with us today the Secretary of the Army, the Honorable John O. Marsh. Mr. Secretary.
Please sit down. Please sit down. General Scott, I am deeply grateful to you for that introduction. And I would comment here that your being selected as an honorary member of the class of 1985 last evening is a great tribute by those whom you lead, and one I'm sure that you will cherish. To Ben Gilman, a member of Congress, to you, Mr. Ambassador, whom we greet here today, to members of the faculty and the administration, to this magnificent corps of cadets and your guests, the Chief of Staff of the United States Army joins with me in congratulating each of you in the class of 1985, the largest in the history of the United States Military Academy. I know of the fine performance of duty of West Point officers. A number of them have served with me in the office of the Secretary, and one of those is here today, Lieutenant Colonel Herb Smith, class of 1965. During the American Revolution, West Point was called the key to the continent because of its strategic location. The academy that was later founded here in 1802 embodied many of the hopes and dreams of America's first soldiers. The exploits of their graduates and their valor is recorded on battlefields around the world. And today it holds a position of strategic importance in the education of the officer corps of the United States Army. You are about to graduate from an institution that is known and respected around the world. This is the year of leaders. The Army welcomes you to its ranks because it needs your leadership. It is proud of your accomplishments. It salutes that brave old Army team for what they did last fall from Colgate to Pontiac. West Point has a value system that is grounded in the ideas and the causes of the American Declaration of Independence and of our Constitution. Duty, honor, country, these are the watchwords of West Point. It is important that you view your service as one that is based on values. It is easy to become disillusioned, but you must keep your vision. It is easy to become dissatisfied, but you must renew your spirit. It is easy to become selfish, but you must be willing to sacrifice. It is easy to become a cynic, but you must retain your sense of purpose. It is easy to despair, but you must keep your hope. I congratulate you, and I wish you well. As you say farewell to Cadet Gray and don the Army Blue, I thank you for your service to your country.
Secretary will now present diplomas to the members of the class. Mr. Secretary, would you give the diplomas?
What I'll remember is the close friends who are really make an effort to stay in touch with them.
Every first classman will tell you that friends I'll never forget. It's hard to say goodbye because you go through something that only you and your friends that go through here with you can understand. You can tell people about it, but they'll never understand it. And it's something that you share together that you'll never lose because of that.
I think the one thing that will always stand out in my mind is the way that the friendships develop. Everything is so competitive, but yet it throws you together enough that the friendships you develop. In 4 years here, I feel like a part of me belongs to that group of people that I call my friends.
Well, I just would say to them, I hope they haven't taken their experience here for granted. I hope we all look back on it and see the valuable things that West Point has given us.
I wish everybody well. I wish them luck. Definitely do. I have a feeling that we're all going to do fine and well when we get out. So, best of luck to all of us.